Welcome to the Prairie Lights Invitational U.S. Rules Croquet Tournament, held in the first summer of the COVID. Don't you just hate it when I say that? It's hosted by Mickey Huttenhoff and Ronnie Summers at their beautiful home and lighted croquet lawn in Manhattan, Illinois. I was the tournament director, but tournament management duties got shared by the whole group. This is a semifinal match between Missy Ramey and Rick Sheely. Rick came through his block unscathed, and it's lovely to be able to put up American 6-wicket scores on Croquet Scores now. Rick won the toss, selected blue and black. They'll be double banking with the other semifinal match, which is Jody Rugard against yours truly.
You guys have the clock?
Yes, thank you, though. Great. Just great. Fun.
Missy finished second to her sister, Jody Rugard, in the other block. She actually beat Jody, but their tie in games was settled by the net hoops total. Brian Hovis, your able cameraman, was actually able to eke out a win against Missy.
It's a wind
That's
chime.
you!
To my phone? Sounds like wind chime.
I've never really understood putting red and yellow on the midpoint of the south boundary like that. It's too far away to do a Chernobyl attack on blue and black, and it's too close for defensive purposes.
Maybe not. Okay, my dear, thank you.
That's it.
Can you put them this way, or
Pardon?
where do you want the ball?
He should go first to the spent ball red that he wants to leave behind with his partner blue,
I got myself some deadness. And
that being the pattern that works with a rush to the attack. Missy did a wide join, which is a good tactic. It's the best defense against a croquet out if you can't do it with positioning.
Good luck in the final.
It pretty much forces the attacker to get 3-ball dead and makes it harder for him to get a rush to his hoop and get clean. No problem for our senior national champion.
There's a slight error on sideline there.
But the trapezoid in front of hoop 2, that is the zone of makeability, is incredibly fast and has been doing this to players the whole tournament. So he'll settle for the wiring instead.
Check what he did on all of them.
Missy got what she wanted. Black is 3-ball dead. Those other 2 balls are a long way away. She could set up on the west boundary and keep black from setting up at hoop 2 if there's a mishap in Rixness' turn. But she's playing it safe and going to corner 1. Whoops. The first mistake of the game. And it was a double whammy. And the on-court board incorrectly shows red dead on blue. It's the other way around. This is an example of a veteran player being unafraid to use the entire court.
Most of it.
Then
Okay, thank you.
Missy, what's red's deadness?
Red is dead on yellow.
It's got blue up, so I think that's a mistake.
Huh?
Red stripe has blue solid, or blue is a
I'm only dead on
yellow.
yellow.
Nope, try again. Blue's clean, red is dead, only yellow. Oh, there we go.
It's challenging on Sunday afternoon. That's why they're supposed to end by noon time.
So challenging, in fact, that they're wrong. It's blue that's dead on red, not vice versa. Retreating once again to her favorite safe spot.
took off. That was the ball black set him with. And then he rushed red out of bounds. So if you want to take that over again.
Interestingly, had the board been correct, she was under no obligation to tell him that. But when you notice that the board is incorrect, you have an obligation to bring it to everybody's attention immediately. She gave him the option of a replay, and I think that's correct because nobody objected when he announced earlier that blue was clean. That amounts to verifying the board and means that misinformation affected his decision.
Blue's thrust was up to number 3.
Yeah, but I would have chosen different because of the red deadness. I would have.
I know, but did we question the board before then? Because I think it was up there. And then we took it out, right?
Well, if I get this back, I get that back.
Okay. Fine.
Now he's back to where he was when he first rushed black out to hoop 3. But I didn't hear him say pass. I don't know that blue has in fact replayed. If not, then red just played out of turn.
The trouble is, I've been stuck. And everybody has gone through that stage. There it goes, yeah.
And blue plays out of turn.
No, you lose. If they're more than 2 handicaps, better than 6. No, 4.5 to 6 is 1.5. So you might get a couple to be compared. But the key thing is when you beat Brian, he's 1.5. So you'll get 6.
She came all the way back down here to put that black flag back in corner 3. What a good citizen.
So you'll get 6 or 8 points. I got it. Oh, but they lost. Years. Well, I had you starting at 4.5 plus 4. Yeah. But they all
And a third out of turn because she knows that she played red in her previous turn.
Isn't it red to play?
Red. I played wrong. You remember how far away I was?
But you shot red up here, right? Then why would you shoot red again?
Time out. What if we? Can you look and see where we mucked up?
Video replay is certainly possible, but it's a little tricky for us amateur photographers. I think what they did was reconstruct the game back to red's hoop shot, but because there were 3 out of turns, what they should have done was correct only the last out of turn, put yellow back where it was, and it should have been red to play with blue and black still sitting out by hoop 2. Rule 11.1, Part D.
Red to play. Blue waves.
Red is for 3, yellow's for 2. She wants to give yellow the rush, but red could have done that just by going behind yellow on its turn. This way, she sacrifices red's ability to rush down to hoop 2 and get a break going for yellow. That should be a problem.
It's kind of like deja vu, isn't it?
I really definitely wanted to do that. Standing there down there thinking I could.
So she's coming with red, but it would have been a lot better to be able to rush yellow down there.
Just can't hit them soft enough.
Nope.
So she left the spent ball as a pioneer. So red and black are both 3-ball dead now. So does she shoot the hoop, set up, or go back to yellow? Going back to yellow would have prevented that. That's producing a positively biblical deadness board. counting on blue still being there for yellow.
It's everywhere. There's some different options.
Hey! Hey! Hey, what did you get?
And unfortunately for Sheely, the board is correct.
Miss my wife come out here with a bike.
There's a bike.
But she wasn't counting on having them both. And now a reasonable chance to go to peg.
Call it the Lakeshore Trail or the Mammoth Trail. Or, it has something to do with like pleistocene. Horses or bikes.
Oh, it's got to be mountain. So,
Well, it's got a cave, so the horses must go on the side.
so like how far a drive from here to get to the trail?
Then it goes down.
On street, but not the I think take that down.
Okay, so that's 52.
Oh, bridge is 52.
Is
Target.
but here it is.
Okay. All right, so it's baked with.
So when you're coming on Briggs, which goes into 52 and goes straight into Manhattan, instead of turning left to get to our house, it's then right about half a mile or something. And it goes from, you can go to downtown Manhattan. It's my next door neighbor rode her horse over there and tied you up behind the bar.
And hoop 2 strikes again. Rick's been 6-ball dead a couple times this tournament. He gets out of this one, we're going to have to start calling him Houdini.
See us in Indy, we need to play more so it's not get better. Yeah, I'll let you know anyway.
Well, there's one set of shackles undone.
That's not in position to make the hoop. It is? Nice sense of balance. Oh, Missy. So I have an old feeling center right on that.
Yeah.
I suppose we could put them in the pocket and pick them up and put them.
That was. It's not sweet corn they're growing there.
It's not. No.
Maybe they're gonna make tortillas out of it. Couldn't man.
I don't know enough about it to be able to tell you but I know that everything around here is planted in fields.
You could question the position of his right hand. I was looking for a bevel edge or hitting the other ball, neither of which he did, and I was on the other side, so I didn't really see his hand very well.
What? Yeah. What?
He's going to try it again, but he's got to come all the way through the hoop this time. It's actually not that risky because if he stuffs it, yellow's too short for the jump shot and would just go off to the side and call a first block, and then blue would be able to escape. We are working on Houdini, though. Well, half the escape act has been accomplished. I'm going to do a whole separate video on the wagon wheel effect. The striped croquet ball skids for 15, 20 feet. Then it starts to roll, and because the stripe acts as two spokes and the frame rate of the 60 interlaced camera that Brian is using is functionally 30 frames per second, the stripe will appear stationary at half the frame rate, or 15 revolutions per second right there, which translates into about 10 miles an hour for a croquet ball. I won't bore you with the confirmation here, but the hoops serve as markers so I can actually time the speed of the ball to be sure that calculation is correct.
I think I have a wire.
Yes, you do.
Feeding it.
Yes.
Back in shackles again. That was the only ball that yellow was live on. And actually, she has a pioneer at 3 in blue. An aggressive approach would be to peel black here and then run the 3-ball break. I know I lost to Sheely by trying to keep him dead when I should have been trying to make hoops. And now black can call first block at the beginning of his next turn. Won't do him much good, but... This is why you call a referee to watch these. It's easy to see how from his angle or hers that looked like those two balls hit. And I can't guarantee that they didn't. A very high-speed camera might have shown contact or might not have.
Don't you hate those backward rushes?
Whoa, where are you going?
That left hand just wants to get involved. 6-ball dead, didn't I?
You know, there's something about having too many riches.
If yellow were about 10 feet to the left, she could call first block because she had a makeable shot, however unlikely. Red is clean in for 4.
Felt it, felt it, felt it.
And another chance to go to peg.
Trying to muck it up.
Bet it's been 40 minutes. There's 47 minutes on the clock, which is not right. Ryan might know because he's been filming it. There's a timestamp on it. Video.
Sure that would be, because it's in fast pictures, you just have to look for it. Work backwards from there.
And since red is the only ball that blue is live on, after black made hoop 2 and went to hoop 5 and yellow sat up in front of hoop 2, blue now takes the wire. And peels red because he had wisely put black as a pioneer at hoop 5 and has a break.
I don't think you've okayed it yet.
I was wired on it. Oh, here.
Yeah.
And Houdini escapes with a little help from his friends.
Whoa. Whoa, red.
I'm cleaning up my campsite over there between those 2 pine trees. I like to camp out when I come here, and that frees up an extra bed in the clubhouse.
I can't clean him, dude. So there.
I think that incredible perseverance and then tenacious break play are Rick's strongest point. This is how he has improved steadily over the past 5 or 10 years. To a -2 and senior national championships. Double loading 3 back because his yellow Pioneer is wide and deep. I actually met Rick Shealy here in 2012 at the Midwest Regional Tournament, including the likes of Britt Ruby and George Cochran, and Mike Weimer-Skirch and Sandy Knuth, and other luminaries of the game. He'll be planning to leave now. He's playing blue. I would put yellow, the spent ball, at penult so that I can drop it off at black's hoop number 3 before making rover. That makes it easiest to finish up last dead on the spent ball rather than last dead on partner.
Rick, I'm going to clear yellow.
There are obviously myriad ways to do this. Looks like he's planning to leave black by its hoop now. This allows him to put his partner ball back by the boundary to provide a very difficult shot for the danger ball when the leave is finished. I doubt that he was trying to do that because a rush would have been more useful. He was just lucky he didn't get wired by going in the hoop. What this method is necessitating is traveling long distances by takeoff. I think it's a little bit safer to travel those long distances by rushes, but he's doing it well. Extremely well, in fact. And relying on long takeoffs requires very precise pioneer placement because it's harder with a long takeoff to get a rush on a less well-placed pioneer.
This makes sense, but that's where the original film Reed's video
Some would consider roqueting black and then finishing yellow, putting it right behind the hoop and getting clean off yellow. Yellow is pretty exposed and it's a long way from the boundary, so it's safer to shoot at.
Blue is just dead red.
So he's actually dead on the danger ball, not last dead on the spent ball, which is how you usually end up.
We had that problem once. We went back to the and the batteries were off. So we had to stop there. We were on our way to the gas. And then it was a little hairy.
So it's just a 3-ball break to hoop 6, where he'll pick up red and make it a 4-ball break the rest of the way. If all goes well, anyway. Or he can pick up red now, especially if he can get behind it and get a rush out of that hole back there.
playing doubles with Croquet.
Okay, I didn't really read up on it.
We've been playing doubles and stuff. Super distance.
Or, relative. Me and Ronnie. Right.
So we're redefining house with anybody you play Croquet with the last month.
Yeah. Right.
So I think
We're taking some good.
But we're outside. And I'm
outside,
gonna-
and you're never near anyone for any period. Nobody heard me last night. Nobody was listening, but I said, I'm swearing you all to secrecy that we abided by the guidelines I gave out. Nobody heard the guidelines, and nobody heard.
But if somebody gets sick, they're all going to want to do it.
Pardon?
If somebody gets sick,
Still lay blame.
yeah, if somebody gets it, I appreciate it.
Yes. It was absolutely. Did anyone here say me better than Carl?
How much time is left?
No, just you.
And that's supposed to be the best.
I didn't hear the answer, but it's at least 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. But I'm hoping that all we're gonna do is jump my car.
You don't want to go out and get bad. Well,
No, it'll get me home. Once I get it started, it'll get me home. No problem. I got truck trailers and I got enough gas to get home, but they're not stopping.
when I used to do it,
Yeah.
I'll be right back. It wasn't a problem.
With no two-back Pioneer already in place, that's a pretty deep position for the one-back Pioneer. So because of that, he's double loading one back, just like he did three back in the other break.
Well, was it gasoline?
So now Red will become the two-back Pioneer, and he'll have those two balls to work with at one back. He rushed that ball to pivot position because he knew that he was going to send the deep ball at one back to Pioneer at two back.
Well, because if you can smell it. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, I bought a meal one night. But,
You guys left
How much time, Rick?
I think in the vicinity of 2 minutes, a little bit more maybe.
But we had to put it in last night.
Well, people are white.
We'll just use some of the tournaments.
Yeah, you would be able to do it.
Have them coming out.
Yeah, you learn how to be a producer.
But what I really want to do is go figure it out, write a script.
Oh, you actually, people say something.
Yeah.
Well, it might be another 3 or 4 years.
Oh, they'll do both. They'll do beans for a while.
We'll do beans for at least 2, maybe 3 years.
4 minutes 50.
4 minutes, 50 seconds.
Keeping her handicap low. Keeping her handicap low.
Okay, Rick?
Yeah.
I'm seating.
Missy's down 20-5, but she's conceding because they want to get back to St. Louis tonight. And Jody still has to play Rick in the
I
final.
wish Brian had had a chance to play. He would have given you a better game.
You scared me to death in the beginning.
Well, you know, if anybody can muck up a 6-ball bed in their...
So Rick Shealy wins the semi 26-5. We scored at 26 because Missy conceded. He went on to play Jody in the final, and that's the first game in this series.